This video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, they got you covered. All right. We're gonna sit down and talk about The Sims 4 base game. I have had a complicated relationship with The Sims 4 over the years. The game is now 10 years old. It released in September of 2014. What was I doing in September of 2014? I was in my senior year of high school, busy being the most annoying theater kid imaginable. I was, I think, working my job at Texas Roadhouse at the time. Yeehaw, I think. And doing high school. So I remember I just didn't have time to jump into The Sims 4 at the time that it released. I also remember a couple years earlier having gotten into The Sims free play for a second there and being totally turned off by the franchise in general because of it. I remember I didn't have a computer at that time to go back and play The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, games that I really, really loved, but I just didn't have a way to play them, so I loaded up The Sims free play on my phone and was immediately filled with feelings of anger and hatred. Oh, I hated The Sims free play. And I never touched it again. So yeah, I wasn't like super stoked to play The Sims 4 right when it launched. And this complicated relationship has continued over the years. I did eventually pick up The Sims 4. I don't think that I started playing it seriously until a lot of the big patches started to come in. A lot of the things that were missing from previous games started to get added. We'll talk about it. And then I think the City Living pack is when I really started to play The Sims a lot, because to me that was just such an exciting pack and something that is essential to, I think, The Sims is having a little city that you can go romp around in. So once that came around, so did I. But then I felt for quite a few years there that the packs were just disappointment after disappointment for me, and I had a pretty negative view of the game as a whole. Lately though, okay, I've been coming around. I have actually really enjoyed a lot of the recent expansion packs, and dare I say, I have been really liking The Sims 4. Part of it might just be me and my growth as a person. I just don't think I have the energy anymore to be as big of a hater as I once was. And then there's also the factor of I have spent so much money on this game that it makes me sick. So yeah, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that I have fun. Damn it. I didn't buy every single pack or anything. No. But the ones that I do have, I have been really enjoying playing with them. And it also might have something to do with my commitment to getting rid of all of my mods and CC. I found that just, over time, due to general laziness, I didn't have what it took to keep up with all of these mods and the CC, and so my game was just a fucking mess. So I said, screw it. Let's try to go in raw, baby. Let's take everything out and see if I even enjoy the game without all of these mods. And yeah, you know what? I'm really glad I did it, because now my game pisses me off significantly less. I'm running into way less problems, hardly any bugs and glitches now. I'm just not responsible enough to have more than MC Command Center in my game. When The Sims 4 released, it was 40 doll hairs. That is a lot of money, but over the years, the price has fluctuated quite a bit from, general price cuts and sales, and now it is free to play. And then we just got confirmation recently, actually, that The Sims 5 is not in development. And so, yeah, we are gonna be stuck with this puppy for quite a while. The Sims team has always, done patches and updates and bug fixes to expansion packs and the base game over the years. I do feel recently, they've been doing a lot more, especially to the base game. Maybe it's just me paying more attention, but I do feel there have been a lot of improvements and a lot of things changed about the base game. So yeah, The Sims 4. We're kind of stuck with it, but I don't know if that's such a bad thing. It's not like it's a totally abandoned, broken game. Oh God, I know people are gonna have something to say about the fact that I said broken game. Here's the thing is that is kind of just subjective to you and your system. And I noticed that a lot of people that complain about it, I used to complain about it, maybe should take a look at their mods folder. And everybody has different packs and different systems, so the game is gonna interact with you specifically in a very particular way that is unique to your beautiful self. But I just think that saying that the game is completely broken is a little bit dramatic in 2024, okay? This game is not going anywhere. We're still gonna be getting updates and DLC for at least another couple years now. So I figured it would be fun to go pack by pack and kind of see where we're at. Starting with the actual base game, The Sims 4, free to play. What are we working with? All right, so I'm gonna move on over to my pewter. It's 3 feet that way. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to change up the camera angle today, you know, for the intro. But let's get to talking about the base game. So, The Sims 4, when it launched in 2014, had a little bit of a rocky start in terms of players' expectations. See, when you release a sequel in a series of pretty well-established titles, you better make sure that all the features from the previous games are there from the get-go. Well, this was not the case for The Sims 4. There were some pretty noticeably missing elements, such as toddlers, an entire life stage that came with both The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 was missing from The Sims 4 for more than 2 whole years after its release. Babies used to age up from the crib straight into the child's life stage. What the heck are we doing? Conveniently, just a few months before the release of the Parenthood Game Pack, toddlers were added in January of 2017. Plenty of people were very upset at this glaring exclusion from the game, but like, it seems that they simply just weren't ready yet at the time of the game's release, so they took a lot of time to get it right. And yeah, I don't have too many complaints about toddlers in general. Infants, though. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, what a waste of my fucking time. I don't like the infants, I hate them, and I don't— Pools. Pools were absent upon The Sims 4's release. What else? Ghosts weren't added until patch 5. Basements weren't included until patch 15, which, to be fair, they didn't come with The Sims 3 either. Those were also patched in after release. Terrain tools didn't come until later. Hot tubs didn't come for a long ass time, and even so, we only get just one base game hot tub. Firefighters didn't come until Eco Lifestyle was released in 2020, and we still don't have the typical police officers or burglars. I guess they kind of like exist, you know, you can be a detective in the Get to Work expansion pack, and you can kind of be a burglar and break into Sims homes in the For Rent pack, but you guys know what I mean. I'm sure there was even more stuff that was added in over the years that I'm forgetting about now, but those are the ones, like the big ones that made players pretty upset at launch. Pretty upset. Oh, I love this thing. I got it on Etsy. And you know what? I think that now is a pretty good time to bring up stuff that was never added to The Sims 4 that will never be added to The Sims 4. Let's start with the color wheel. Oh boy, this one is contentious. The color wheel and pattern picker are sorely missed from The Sims 3. People loved this thing. For me, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I am a simple lady. I think that giving too much freedom is annoying and bad, actually. I don't want to be dealing with hex codes when I'm picking a Sims hairstyle or editing all the different textures that could possibly be on one furniture item. I'm good. I feel like the color wheel can stay in The Sims 3. Good riddance. One thing I do wish we could do is separate bed sheets from bed frames in Build By. Not like how modders do it, where it's 2 separate furniture items, but like, you know, just add another swatch section. I don't know. I'd like that very much. Sims 4 is not open world like The Sims 3 was. And this is still an ongoing discussion, even to this day, 7 years later, and it has been discoursed to death. But I will say this, I think that open neighborhoods as a concept are perfectly fine. Yes, I really liked the open world in The Sims 3. It made the game feel so real and alive to me. To watch my sim travel, to go and get groceries, or go to the movies, or the stadium. But like, it didn't always work right all the time. Sometimes the whole town would feel so empty. And of course, it was incredibly taxing on my system, personally. So yeah, I get why we're not doing that in The Sims 4. Scaling it back was a good idea, but Do I think it's executed perfectly? No. There's certain neighborhoods within certain worlds that I really like, mainly the ones with parks and activities. I do wish that there were actually more rabbit hole activities. Yes, I know. I'm saying it out loud. But yeah, I wish that I could take my Sims to the grocery store again, or have them go see a movie in a building. Food carts are cute, but I don't think that they're enough, you know? And I wish that certain neighborhoods would allow the businesses to function without a loading screen. But now we're getting a little off topic. I suppose I just wish that there was more to open neighborhoods. Even in the recent packs, we've got neighborhoods with buildings that are essentially shells, not even rabbit holes that you can interact with, and more food carts outside. I'd like to see more than just food carts and sex hotels, okay? My editor, Lissa, said that's all you need, honestly. Oh, that's funny. The sex hotels are a nice inclusion, I will say, for my more whorish Sims. I'd take a grocery store over a sex hotel, though. You know what I mean? What else is missing? Ugh, cars. Functional cars and vehicles like school buses and carpools for work. I do miss those. I'm not looking to drive a vehicle though. This is not GTA. Again, this is yet another immersion thing. Maybe we're not into cars in The Sims 4. Maybe we're building public transit and walkable cities instead, but no, that's just not the reality in this game. That would be such a cool element to open neighborhoods. Bus stops and subway stations and the like. Enough about the past though. Let's be positive. What comes with the base game now? The worlds, the Sims, what are we working with? The map. Girl, the map used to be so ugly and bland and boring. So glad they changed this. This was awful. All right, The Sims 4 comes with 3 worlds that cannot really be edited like they could in the previous title. There's no world editor in this game, but these worlds are all pretty different, and you know what? I really like what we're working with here. Willow Creek is described as a lush bayou of rolling hills intertwined with marshy riverways and is inspired by New Orleans-style architecture. I've never visited New Orleans, but from what I know, my limited knowledge, I would say they did a pretty good job executing the vision here. I'd have loved to see more shotgun-style houses, townhouses, the like, and just in general, more congestion. Everything's so far away from each other. There's quite a few examples of the types of houses you'd find in the region though, from various time periods, so that's cool. There's a few businesses in Willow Creek, a nightclub, a gym, museum, library, and a park. I wouldn't identify many of these as good by today's Sims 4 standards, Lots that come with the more recent expansion packs are much better than any of these. And again, this neighborhood in particular would have been a great opportunity to explore the open neighborhood thing. You can go and walk all around here, go visit the park, go and fish, all of this. But if you want to visit the gym that's right next door to the nightclub, you have to go through a whole loading screen for that. We traveled literally from here to here, and we got a loading screen, This just breaks up the gameplay too much for me. It would be so cool to let these load in similar to The Sims 3, where you could walk up to any lot and it would spawn the indoors right then and there. Willow Creek houses for pre-made families, the Goths, which we all know and love from previous Sims games. Bob and Eliza Pancakes, the BFF household with Summer, Travis, and Liberty, and then the Spencer Kim Lewis household. So we all know the Goth family. They actually got a complete makeover in 2022, and I really like how they look now. I feel like they didn't plan ahead for aging up, because Alexander, oh boy, I'm certain he isn't intended to look like that when he gets older. But otherwise, they're a good looking bunch, and I actually kind of like their house, unpopular opinion, I know, but it's a pretty unique house for them specifically, and I think it's good for a pre-made house when it's all said and done. Both Bella and Mortimer have jobs and skills that make sense, which apparently is asking for too much, because we can't say the same for all the families in the base game. The Spencer Kim Lewis household. My God, does this family piss me off. Okay, so we have Eric and Alice, who are married, and they have one parent each living with them and their daughter. Nobody in this household has a job or even any skills really when you load them in. And Eric fulfills one of the mansion baron aspirations when you load him in, and it's like, where did all this money come from? Like, I'm just annoyed. Give these guys some backstory, you know? And their family tree could have some more deceased family members on here. Just saying. One family that does have a backstory of sorts is the Pancakes. Their bio hints that their relationship might be on the rocks, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't read their bio before playing them, because their relationship bar is pretty high, and they don't have any sentiments that allude to this supposed trouble in paradise. When you look at their house, there are subtle clues that they're not doing so hot. It's implied that they're sleeping in separate bedrooms, but the beds aren't even assigned to anyone, so it just could be more obvious. At least Bob has a job. Eliza doesn't. She's my bummy queen. I always split them up and move Eliza to San Myshuno to go live the city girl lifestyle in my playthroughs. That's just my MO, I don't know. The BFF's household could use some of the same thing, I think. The bio says that both Liberty and Summer have a crush on Travis, but you wouldn't know that unless you read the bio. None of them have any sort of romantic relationship with each other, any romantic sentiments or anything. They leave the whole thing pretty open-ended, but hey, at least they all have jobs. One thing too, I do wish townies would start with relationships outside of the household when you load in a new game. I have a hard time believing that the only 4 families that live in this entire fucking town don't know each other at all. Oasis Springs is the other major world that comes with the base game. It's more of a desert, Southwest vibe. I always imagine it's based on like Tucson. Oh my God, this is so from Arizona of me coded, but yeah, it's got a lot of like the Spanish style architecture and mid-century builds. So I feel like it's giving more like Tucson than Phoenix. Okay, where are my Arizona peeps? I like this world a lot. It has 2 pretty solid community lots in my opinion. Both the bars are great. I actually frequent them a lot, even when I have other packs installed. The museum? You know, it's there. The gym might be one of my least favorite community lots in this whole game. I think it's so hideous and just so dark and musty. A lot of the lots in this game are actually really dark. I think we could use an overhaul of the lighting in the base game. And the park is perfectly fine to me. We run into similar problems in this world with the lack of story and relationships. The land grabs here that we know and love, they come to mind. They have jobs, yes, and they're higher up in their career tracks, which makes sense, right? But they lack any skills at all, really, which just makes me a little upset. Like, come on, they had to have some skills to get here. I like that Malcolm is devious and evil. I feel like they really leaned into that, and we've got, you know, a righteous cop husband and a crime lord wife. Perfect. Their house is fine. Clearly there was supposed to be a pool here, but when they first created this lot, there were no pools in the game. I think this should be updated, personally. But truthfully, I download Lil Simsy's version of the land grab home every time that I play, so it doesn't really even matter to me. What does matter to me is that their description alludes to many secrets within their family. And when you go on over to Johnny Zest's mobile home over here, you see that he was estranged from the land grabs for not finishing school. Okay, that's great. But when you load him in, he has no relationships with anyone at all, not even a red relationship bar with any of his family members, and he's not listed on their family tree. I think this desperately needs to be fixed. Like, this is just a huge oversight. Where is the drama? All in our heads, apparently, because you would have no idea that this estrangement existed if you didn't read the bios. Same with the Calientes. They got a refresh as well a while back, and I think they look great. I don't even remember what they looked like before, so that says a lot, I think. Don's looking good. You know, he's always my town whore when I play. Anybody that needs a baby just calls up Don Lothario. Their bio says that Katrina has moved in her mooching boy toy Don into the house, but when you load them in, guess what? No romantic relationships at all, or sentiments. Like, this is such a missed opportunity. Katrina's feeling envious of other couples around her, but like, girl, you're supposed to have a romantic relationship. I don't know what to tell you. The Roomies household, I don't know. I don't know what to say about them. I don't have much of a problem with them. I like that there's just like a household of single Sims. You know what I mean? So, That's all the main Sims that come in the base game, outside of, just random generated townies. I just feel like this is one of the biggest crimes that The Sims 4 commits. You have so many characters that have such a rich history that span across all of your games, and they're just not set up for success here. It makes me miss loading up like the Caliente household in The Sims 2 and playing through Dawn and Cassandra's storyline. There was just so much story to be played there, and I feel like The Sims 4 starts out almost too open-ended. There is one more neighborhood in the base game, but it's just Newcrest, and it's empty. And I actually have never played here really at all. I don't bother building anything over here. The shells in the neighborhood surrounding the empty lots have a lot of varying styles, and it's pretty. Yeah, there's a non-functional golf course here. Wow, I've never explored here ever. Oh my god. This is good to have, but I just personally don't ever utilize it. Okay, so creating a sim with just the base game isn't hard, but visiting this after playing with packs is a little sad. I miss some of my stuff, but there's still quite a bit here, and they've made quite a few updates over the years, such as skin tones. We don't have a color wheel in The Sims 4, but there is quite a bit more freedom with skin tones now since they fixed this. And there's even some sliders so you can get more customization. This was a very needed improvement. The skin tones at launch left much to be desired. They've changed and improved some of the bad hairstyles. We've got body hair now and the new eyelashes. Well, they're no Kijiko eyelashes, I'll tell you that much. But I think that they're fine, actually. At the end of the day, when you're in live mode, I don't know how you say it, girl, but whatever. You just don't really notice the minute details like that so much. At least that's true for me. So I think that they're fine. We've got the option to pick pronouns now. There's some added customization in the romance and gender preferences tab. And then likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes are a little boring to me. The more packs you have, the more complex they get. And I just feel like it's kind of bloated because likes and dislikes don't affect many meaningful gameplay aspects. I don't really care about how each sim feels about every color in the rainbow, but there is some good stuff here. We can finally copy paste makeup and accessories across outfits. This is a game changer. We needed this so bad, and it was the worst part of CAS for such a long time for me. Such a good update. The last major updates that I can remember are the addition of the infant's life stage that we got before the Growing Together pack. And I'll just go ahead and insert my opinion about infants. I don't care for them at all. I was perfectly fine with the newborn stage and the toddler stage. I just wasn't one of those simmers that was dying to have a new baby life stage in the game. And I tend to age out of it to get to the more interesting life stage, toddlers, pretty quickly when I'm playing. It's cool that they added them into the base game though, instead of locking them behind the Growing Together expansion. But yeah, I don't think they're very necessary in my opinion. Oh, also you can create ghosts and pick how they died now. I miss my more cast columns mod the most, as I'm not playing with mods today. I think there should be at least 3 here. And I'll be honest, I don't think we need a hair color wheel. Please just get rid of the blue-black hair. It is so fucking ugly. I always change my Sims to have the dark black hair color swatch, I'm not mad at the lack of hair color customization though. I just think that some of the swatches we do have could be better. There are some improvements, in my opinion, that can be made in CAS, the most egregious being makeup. The makeup in this game is pretty horrendous. It's actually the only CC that I could never, ever purge from my game. I think every single bit of the makeup needs a complete overhaul, girl. Other than that though, CAS in The Sims 4, let's be honest, it's the best in the series. I love the sliders. I love all of the creative freedom that you have to change all of these small little details. You can create some really interesting and unique looking Sims. And the art direction for the Sims themselves, I think, is amazing in The Sims 4. Anything's better than the Sims 3 Sims to me though. I do think that those were ugly. I don't have much to say about build and buy. It's just not my area of expertise. Yes, of course, I dabble in the building, but I mostly do the buying. I rarely ever will build a house from the ground up. A lot of the times I'm perfectly content working with the existing shells that are already in the game, and then maybe tearing down some interior walls. Sometimes I'll try to add an upstairs or a basement, but yeah, I'm not picky like that. I will say I do think that the furniture from back in 2014 looks a little off compared to the furniture we get now. I think that a lot of the furniture from the game's release looks outdated. The shadows seem weird to me on a lot of this stuff, but they have made some improvements to things, like they added in an absolute fuckload of new swatches in the base game just this year, like super recently, which I think is awesome. One huge blind spot for build and buy for me is rugs. Like, we need way more base game rugs, because even with all the packs that I own, playing with every pack installed, I still feel like we don't have nearly enough rugs. That's something that I would like to see in the base game, or I don't know. Fuck it. Give me a whole kit of just rugs. My dumbass will buy it. Basic rugs, basic colors, all sorts of different shapes, ornate rugs, funky rugs, I don't care. Give me all of them. I think that we are desperate. We made huge strides in the curtains department. You know, I think it's time for rugs to have their moment. I would also like to see little improvements, quality of life stuff. The better build and buy mod comes to mind, you know, but stuff like more categories for items. There's not much to complain about when you're just playing the base game, but separating wall and floor decals from paintings and rugs. Separating like posters from paintings and framed wall art. I also think it'd be nice to have separate swatches for bed linens and bed frames, like I mentioned earlier. I'm not gonna harp on the initial exclusion of pools, terrain tools, and ponds and such in this section, but I am glad we have them now. I just feel that build and buy and Cass in The Sims 4 are really solid. But I do have plenty to say about the gameplay. Let's talk the actual game. I know plenty of us can spend hours in Cass and build and buy, but the live mode stuff is actually very important. I've spent a lot of time playing the older Sims games on my channel, Sims games that have story modes, the console variants and such, and I just feel like my biggest takeaway from making those videos and seeing your guys' feedback is that the story and lore elements are what is sorely missed in The Sims 4. We've discussed already, you know, the pre-made Sims don't feel very fleshed out. I think that alone causes so much just bad PR for this game. It's too open-ended. I think we just need a little guidance here. So I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to try out a scenario for the first time. Honestly, I didn't know about this feature until pretty recently, and I have never attempted one. But essentially, it's supposed to add a little bit more guidance to the storylines that we essentially make up in our heads. They range in difficulty and type, and you can attach them to existing households or create new ones. So I created a new household for my engaged in conflict scenario. I just needed 2 young adult or older Sims. And to try to make it more interesting, I made one Sim have the soulmate aspiration and the other serial romantic, and then added some other traits that kind of matched the energy. The guy is evil, of course, because a lot of them are, and the woman is good. Upon loading these Sims into a lot, I'm shown a text box with more details about this particular scenario. An engaged couple is rethinking their relationship after a huge fight about how to make grilled cheese. There's potential outcomes. Sims get married and have no negative sentiments. They get married and have negative sentiments. They break up before or during the wedding. But then, once we start playing, nothing described in the scenario is set up. They are not a couple, they're not engaged, they get a bunch of random skills for whatever reason, and their relationship bar is in the green. They do have the aggravating conversation moodlet, so they're angry. Jesus Christ, this house is so dark. I have to stop and fix this. Hold, please. Okay, so I had them watch some TV and socialize together. Flirting is not going great, but the welcome wagon popped by for a visit, so I kind of just let that happen. And then our boys started trying to flirt with Liberty. Yup. Real class act. Our Sims friendship is actually progressing pretty fast, so I decided to let them get, you know, a little flirty. And they even had their very first kiss during the welcome wagon while everyone watched. Oh my god, they're that couple, aren't they? That night I took them to the park and let them stargaze and decided, screw it. Let's propose. They have to be dating first, though, so yeah, okay. Let's get that out of the way. Martin popped the question, and she said no. Whoa, hold on, this is so sudden. We just shared our first kiss and now you want us to get married? Wait, I've never had this happen before. Oh my God, that's crazy. I've actually never really even had a rejected proposal before. I don't know if that's unique to this scenario, but you know, kind of dope. Sorry, Martin. Okay, well, let's get these two some JOBs. Melissa will be a businesswoman and Martin will do crime. I thought maybe it would help with the storyline in my head a bit. You know, they need something to argue about, and being on opposite schedules from your significant other can cause some strife, yeah. But so far, there hasn't been much autonomous arguing going on. They get along great for two Sims that have some opposing traits. And besides the proposal, there's not really much negative interacting going on. So I played through a few days. Martin went to the gym. I wanted to see, you know, if he'd flirt with anybody autonomously. And yeah, he flirted with the very good-looking townie trainer for a second. Damn, that is the best looking generated townie I've ever seen. But he had to go to work before I was able to take that relationship anywhere. So Melissa waited up for him to come home. I had Martin propose. She said yes. And then I decided to start an argument for no reason. Wow. She's so me. It's crazy. I wanted to get their relationship down pretty low. Mission accomplished, but no pop-ups or anything still that pertain to this scenario. And I didn't get it far enough to get any negative sentiments, even though both of their relationship bars are pretty in the red. Whatever. I don't know. Let's go get married. Had to put my own arch in the park, for the record. And now it's time to see what happens. I brought their romance bar up a bit, but kept their friendship in the red, which I think was a mistake because they went ahead and just got married anyways. I don't know, I've never had a wedding fail either, you know? I thought this would be enough. There were options to back out of the wedding while it was happening, but I don't know. I just kind of give up at this point. I was hoping that the game would make something interesting happen if things were going too well, but no, you as the player really need to make all the story happen yourself. I could have done all of this without the scenario, you know? I just wish that the scenarios feature was less open-ended and had text pop-ups that told a story similar to The Sims 2. It's cool that we can add these challenges into our playthroughs, but I do wish there was more to this. We have a lot of freedom in general in The Sims 4. They added in neighborhood stories so we can better micromanage the other households in the game, which I think is good. I am personally a micromanager and nothing pisses me off more than the random ugly townies moving into empty lots. And I like that I can control what kind of baby making is happening in other households when I'm away. They also added in memories, kind of, and again, I wish these worked more like they did in The Sims 2. I don't like how much I have to micromanage these. Everybody has their limits and this is mine. The only memories I ever create are associated with getting married because having to input all of this myself is just so taxing. They should have literally just created a memories panel that documented things like fires, job changes, life events. I do like the milestone system, and we'll talk about that when we get to the growing together pack. But yeah, I do think that that should not be locked behind a pack. I think that should probably be just like a base game feature. Over the years, they have added in little things here and there, quality of life improvements to our core gameplay experience, like the phone UI, which I think is fine, the conversation wheel, etc., etc. I do think there are a few things that could use tweaking, and like, if we're going around and fixing UI, oh boy, do I think a lot of it needs an overhaul. If I were to get specific, I think the shopping screen is pretty outdated. Like, you can't even really see these items, and the way they're sorted is not good to me. This also translates to the inventory. I think in general, all of these icons can be updated. Books, grocery items, gardening, fishing. Oh my God, I think that gardening and fishing could be so much better. The photography skill too. I really just hope that, you know, they're still working on all of this stuff. I'll say that the careers in the base game are great. There's a good variety of careers that come loaded into the game, and even like part-time and freelancing jobs. I don't have too many issues with any of the careers besides maybe the criminal career track, you know. I'd always cheat leveling the mischief skill. It's just too grindy. Even once you get the voodoo doll, it's just one of those skills that's not very passive. It could be tedious in bigger households, okay? I still can have fun with just the Sims 4 base game free-to-play gameplay. I think it's great, especially, you know, now that it costs no money. I do think that The Sims 4 is better with packs, but like, you know, other than my small gripes, over time, I really do think that the base game has gotten a lot better. The point of this video is not to just like totally shit all over The Sims 4. Okay, we're putting our positive plumb bob back on. I really do love The Sims, and I'm excited to see them perfect this game more over time. Do I wish that the game shipped in this current state? Hell yeah, I do. I think that's the biggest takeaway from my video today, is that I think the game should have always been like this. Over the last 10 years, we've gotten a lot of the things that players were really missing. And while it's inevitable that this game is gonna be compared to its predecessors, newsflash, whenever The Sims 5 comes out, the same thing is gonna happen to that game. So, you know, for the love of God, just don't let it come out the same way that The Sims 4 came out, you know? And I know that pretty much everybody feels the same way. Like, let's be honest, you know, the base game is pretty good now. Of course, you're gonna get through like the core gameplay and then wanna buy packs, but people should want to buy packs to enhance their gameplay rather than begrudgingly buy packs because they feel that the gameplay is subpar. And for a while there, I really do think that it was. So yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts. But I'm also curious to know, do you need a website for your small business or for your creative endeavors? Yes, no, maybe so? If that's the case, then let me go ahead and tell you all about today's amazing sponsor, Squarespace. The easiest way to create a gorgeous and beautiful and professional website with minimal effort. You can literally create a website with just about any type of theme in minutes. It's stupid easy. They have a bazillion templates for just about any type of business available to start with, and you can customize any of these with ease. There's also Squarespace Blueprint, which makes the process even easier and more seamless. It'll take you step by step and help you decide your theming, design your homepage, add whatever type of pages you might need to your website, pick your fonts and your colors, and then within minutes, boom, you've got a professional website. Small businesses thrive on Squarespace. For merchants, you can set up flexible payments with many popular payment methods and manage inventory with ease. Set up appointments and invoicing directly through your Squarespace website. There's so many popular third-party integrations available to help you better manage your business, and useful SEO and analytic tools that'll help you up your web presence and help you hone in your website into what you've always dreamed of. Tons of people need a website. I really love having mine, listthelass.com. Bloggers, artists, restaurants, whatever you might be, go to squarespace.com/listthelast. Choose a beautiful template or create your own using Squarespace Blueprint, and then once you are ready to launch, then you can go to squarespace.com/listthelast or just use my code listthelast and you'll get 10% off of your very first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Next, we are gonna go pack by pack and just, you know, see where we're at. I actually haven't played a lot of these packs. The next one being Outdoor Retreat. So if you have any tips, tricks, secrets, you know, just let me know. If you liked this video, you might like any of the videos where I played the older Sims games with story modes and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, make sure to check those out. Happy holidays. I hope you're having a wonderful, amazing time with your loved ones. And I will see you in the next one.